Hey everyone, Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection, and I thought, why not do another video today? Actually, it's because Zeke Zanzibar, a person who watches this, who I'm friends with, was talking to me yesterday saying, why is there no new video for me to watch? And he's got a point. I should be doing more of these when I get the chance, and I got a chance right now. So I'm going to do today a year video because nothing new is really in to show yet for like new reveals for magazines, but I thought I haven't done the 1988 year yet. And 1988 was an interesting year in that it was the year of the Mega Powers in the WWF. It was the year of Randy Savage being on top. It was the year where Hogan finally lost the championship. It was, the year that the NWA was bought out. Crockett, lost it. Ted Turner bought it, and it became WCW pretty much, but still using NWA titles. So let's take a look at 1988, and we start off with January, PWI. We got the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, right there. Jealousy in the WWF, why everyone is out to get Ted DiBiase. He's on the cover there, of course. He was going to buy the championship, wasn't he? And he kind of tried. He did. And here we have Animal and Hawk, the Road Warriors, with the NWA World Six-Man Tag Team title belts there. They held those with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Next up for January, we have The Wrestler, and it's the Road Warriors on the cover of that. The Road Warriors will turn bad in 1988, and they did. They did turn bad. It was in the fall, I believe, of 88. They attacked Dusty Rhodes. They attacked Sting. They went heel. They won the tag titles, but fans still cheered them. You can't boo the Road Warriors. No one wanted to boo Animal and Hawk. Inside Wrestling for January of 88, we have, is Hulk Hogan bored with the WWF title and NWA title turmoil? Ric Flair and Ronnie Garvin must settle their war at Starrcade. So Starrcade 87 was coming up, which means the Survivor Series was coming up too for 1987. Because like I said, these magazines are, a few months difference from the stories, what's going on, and the publication when it was released. And I don't know why they always did it like that, because it was kind of weird, right? You're reading about stuff from January 88, but it's from like October 87. It's weird. Sports Review, January 88. Disgraceland, the Honky Tonk Man is the worst Intercontinental Champion ever. The longest Intercontinental Champion, that's for sure. Well, maybe Gunther's coming up on that date pretty soon, so he might surpass the Honky Tonk Man. And Blue Collar Gold Belt, Ronnie Garvin brings new respect to the NWA title. Next up, we have February for PWI. It's Miss Elizabeth and Randy Macho Man Savage on the cover. And a good photo there. And for the poster, we have the new NWA World Champion, Rugged Ronnie Garvin. So, actually, the belt looks good on Ronnie. And I know people were like, really, Ron Garvin? And I understand why. I mean, compared to all the other talent they could have put on it at the time, and they went with Ronnie. But the Wrestler for February 1988, a personal exclusive, Ric Flair admits, I'm nothing without the NWA belt. And Match of the Century Part 2, the world braces for an Andre Hogan rematch. And that was going to be happening on the main event in February of 88. But first, they would have an encounter at Survivor Series. February 88 for Inside Wrestling, we get Randy Macho Man Savage on the cover. A special analysis by Jesse Ventura. Randy Savage has wimped out. And Tully and Arn take the NWA belts. It's time for the Rock and Roll Express to split up. So the Horsemen now have the tag titles, and they were getting ready to, I think Lex was U.S. champ at the time too. So the only one without a belt there would have been Flair. He wasn't, because he lost the belt to Garvin. February 88 for Sports Review Wrestling. The Dream needs a rest. Why Dusty Rhodes must take 1988 off. And Strikeforce, how long can they hold the WWF Tag Team belts? They held them from, November 87 to March of 88, actually, when they lost them to Demolition. For March of 88 for the PWI, it is the year-end in review wrestling one, the awards. Of course, this is always a famous time for PWI. Everyone loves those awards. Let's check out who won this year in 1987. Rookie of the Year went to Owen Hart, with runners-up Big Bubba Rogers, Shane Douglas, and Doug Furnace. So nice to see Shane get a runners-up there. That's my water bottle cracking, if you're wondering. Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, Nikita Koloff. He won that. There he is with Magnum. The papers on this one, very, very weird. Most Improved is Curt Hennig, who was the AWA World Champion here at the time. Yes, I saw a thing on Facebook. It said, name wrestlers who should have been World Champion that weren't. And I don't know how many times I read the name Curt Hennig or Mr. Perfect. And I'm thinking to myself, you wrestling fans who think you know everything online don't even realize that Curt Hennig was a world champion. The AWA was considered a world title. Look back at the history books, people who don't think that or don't know. I mean, I just don't think these wrestling fans are informative enough to even know what the AWA was. They probably had no idea Curt was even there. They probably just know him as Mr. Perfect and then his run in WCW with the NWO. Fans like that just irritate me. Sorry, that's a little rant there, but how can you not know this man is a world champion? It's mind-boggling. Jimmy Hart was Manager of the Year, which was no surprise. He managed the Tag Champs and the Intercontinental Champ that year. The feud of the year was the Four Horsemen versus the Superpowers and the Road Warriors. So, of course, because of War Games, that was a big reason why there at the Great American Bashes. Most popular wrestler of the year was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, with Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and Nikita Koloff as the runners-up. Most hated went to Nature Boy Ric Flair, with Andre the Giant, the Honky Tonk Man, and the Total Package Lex Luger as the runners-up. Match of the year, no surprise, Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental title. The runners-up were the War Games, the match beyond the first one that they had. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3, and Ronnie Garvin versus Ric Flair in the cage, where Garvin won the belt. Tag Team of the Year went to the Midnight Express, Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane, with runners-up the Hart Foundation, the Road Warriors, and the Rock and Roll Express. And Wrestler of the Year went to the WWF Champion Hulk Hogan, with Ric Flair, Randy Savage, and Steve Dr. Death Williams as the runners-up. And Paul Boesch won the Editor's Award. Of course, Houston Wrestling's own Paul Boesch, who ran that territory pretty successful over the years and then got out of the business. And even the WWF paid respect to him at a Houston show, having a Paul Boesch memorial show. So even Vince McMahon knew the importance of Paul in professional wrestling. The wrestler for March 88, we have, after 4 years as champion, only Hulk Hogan can beat Hulk Hogan. And that's interesting. And we got Lex Luger. J.J. Dillon orders Lex Luger stop Sting before he gets to Flair. Inside Wrestling for March 88, we have Bam Bam Bigelow on the cover here with the Mighty Hercules, because Bam Bam was just getting over pretty big in the WWF here. Bam Bam Bigelow, wrestling's most dangerous man. Of course, he was kind of endorsed by the Hulkster. He was on the Survivor Series team with Hogan. They were kind of putting him with Hogan as a tag team when Savage wasn't around. So he was kind of a big deal at the time. March 88 for Sports Review Wrestling. Full coverage of the Survivor Series and Starrcade 87. There's a good shot of Andre and Bobby there and Starrcade. So, again, I've talked about this before in a video on the old on my library here on my channel about how Sports Review Wrestling covered Starrcade events pretty exclusively and really well with photos and whatnot. So that's all right. Wrestling Superstars now. We got spring of 88. And it's a Superstar Dream Match. Bruno Sammartino versus Hulk Hogan. The Legend of 67 meets the Hulkster of 87. So that's pretty sweet to see there. A nice dream match between the two. And they did tag once, or twice, I want to say, but they never wrestled each other. So, and spring of 88 for Wrestling 88, Mega Powers. The Hogan Savage Alliance can destroy the WWF. So there's a sweet sweet photo. They're both bloodied on the cover there. So next up, we have April 88 for PWI. Lex Appeal, the complete package unwrapped. There he is, the total package. Lex Luger, member of the Four Horsemen. And we got Rick Martel, Strikeforce Sensation, as the centerfold here. Of course, that was way before Strikeforce. That's probably his AWA days, that photo. The wrestler for April 88, we have full color insert of Wrestling's Greatest Day. That's being Starrcade and the Survivor Series. Look at that. It's a good cover there. Andre destroying Bigelow. We got Garvin and Flair in the cage. I guess there's colored photos in here. Here we go. There's Starrcade photos right there. We got Survivor Series stuff right there. I really like the 87 Survivor Series. It's definitely, like I said in my 87 WWF Magazine video, like it was just a fun time. Oh, we have AWA Spectacular as well. They talk about that, so that's pretty sweet. What is this? Rick Martel will destroy Strikeforce. Wow, they called that one, didn't they? Former partners warn Tito Santana. Yeah, that's exactly what happened at WrestleMania 5 when Martel turned on Santana. Inside Wrestling, April 88. The Hogan-Andre DiBiase connection. The scandal has rocked wrestling's foundation. That's right. That is leading up to the main event, which will be happening soon, February of 88, where we're going to see a title change. Just going to shock the world. Sports Review Wrestling for 1987. We have the year in pictures. We see U.S. champ Lex Luger, AWA World Champion Kurt Hennig. There it is, people. He held the belt. And Starrcade stuff, WrestleMania 3 stuff. Is there colored photos in here? No, just black and white. That's too bad. It would have been a good colored photo edition for sure. They kind of missed the boat on that one. May 88. Oh, nice. We got PWI. Look at that sweet shot of Andre there in mid-thought, probably thinking, I could really go for a drink or 73, because I know he enjoyed his beer from time to time. The tragedy of success. Andre the Giant, wrestling's unhappiest man. And we got the poster here of Man Called Sting. There it is. Sting's every man's nightmare. Sure, we'll go with that. May of the Wrestler. We have Hulk Hogan on the cover. Belt or no belt, Hulk Hogan is still the people's champion. And Lex Luger's plan to destroy the Horsemen. Hit number 1, Arn Anderson. So Lex is now out of the Horsemen. He's trying to go after them. And we got the Hulkster, I guess, without the title here. So it looks like the match must have happened. Here we have Inside Wrestling now, May 88, $1 Million Middleman. The future of the WWF is in Ted DiBiase's hands. And Road Warriors versus Warlord and Barbarian, a preview and analysis of a violent feud. Okay, so let me talk about this for a second, about the Powers of Pain and the Road Warriors. Everyone always said Demolition was a take off the Road Warriors, like they were a ripoff. And I don't know where they get that from. Nothing about Demolition and the Road Warriors looked alike. Now, the Powers of Pain and the Road Warriors looked identical. You had Barbarian and Animal with the same haircut, Warlord and Hawk with the same haircut. They both had the same build. They wore the same black long tights. One had Road Warriors on the side. The other one had Powers of Pain on the side. They had face paint. Their finishers were the same, where Animal would hold the guy up on his shoulders and Hawk would clothesline off the top rope. Warlord would hold the guy up like the Hart Foundation kind of clothesline, and Barbarian would come off with a clothesline off the top rope. So, no, Demolition were nothing like the Road Warriors. The Powers of Pain, though, identical. Sports Review for May of 88. We got Road Warrior Hawk. When I win Ric Flair's title, I'll wrestle Animal. And we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan on the cover there. Makes most of his second chance. That's about probably when he got busted for marijuana with the Iron Sheik, right? In the by the police driving to the show that one day. June 88 for PWI. Is the end near for Hulk Hogan? We don't know, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't for, well, Hogan wrestled forever, let's be honest. And the centerfold is of Tully Blanchard, one half of the World Tag Team Champions of the NWA. The Wrestler for June of 88. That's a nice cover here. Sting on the cover, punching Nature Boy Ric Flair. And we got Ted DiBiase pays a high price for his greed. That's right, Ted bought the services of Andre the Giant off Bobby the Brain Heenan for a while. Inside Wrestling for June of 88 is The Noble Savage, How Beauty Killed the Beast within the Macho Man. There's Randy and Liz. Bring the Rock and Roll Express back to the NWA. That's the thing at the top here the fans want. And look, here's Road Warrior Animal without the makeup on because he got, I think it was a broken eye socket, they said, but they said the Powers of Pain did it, but I don't know if that really happened or if he just broke it doing something else. But storyline-wise, yeah. Sports Review for June of 88. We got Lex Luger and Tully Blanchard on the cover here. $1 Million Man with the WWF title. And Sting going after Mike Rotundo in the top corner there. Yes, Ted DiBiase was actual WWF champion, they said, for the time being, right? I mean, I remember the next night or something, there was a house show in Boston, and they announced Ted as the new WWF World Champion. So they were doing that for a bit, and then they said, no, tournament, and that kind of got erased, and Ted was never the champion. Really weird. Summer of 88 for Wrestling Superstars. We have a special section, Wrestling's Magnificent Muscle Men, talking about the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, the Road Warrior, Sting. You know, of course, they're all muscle men here. We have, oh wait, you know what? There's a color photo in here of the total package, Lex Luger. I didn't even realize that. Nice. Which means, sorry, I must have missed this one. This one, the other Wrestling Superstars has a Savage. Oh yeah, there's a Randy Savage one. That's the one cool thing with these Wrestling Super. Sometimes I forget, you know, sometimes the pictures aren't in there because they just aren't because people pull them out. But I forgot those ones have them in. And that's one nice thing about the Wrestling Superstars is that they did give you a color centerfold to pull out, which was pretty cool. And Wrestling 88 for summer. A nice shot here of the Crockett Cup winners of 1988. Lex Luger and Sting right there on the cover. Lex Luger or Sting, you decide who should win the future world champion trophy. Sting was the first in Great American Bash 90, and then Lex won it at Great American Bash 91. Next up, July 88 for PWI. We got a sweet shot here of Hogan and Andre on the cover. I've been in a dream world, and Andre's my worst nightmare, says the Hulkster. And the color photo here is of AWA World Champion Curt Hennig. Can't stress that enough, AWA World Champion. To all you idiots who don't think that Kurt was a world champion. The Wrestler for July 88. Hulk Hogan 88 Rule Breaker. No, that did not happen. The Hulkster remained a good guy until 1996 in WCW. And Brainwash. Barry Windham, Kevin Sullivan has turned Mike Rotundo into a robot. Of course, Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo, former tag team partners, former Florida tag team champions, WWF tag team champions. And Mike went heel, joined Kevin Sullivan's group in down in Florida and then up into the NWA territory, WCW. For Inside Wrestling of July, we got Kerry Von Erich with Milk and Michael P.S. Hayes with Jack Daniels. That's an awesome photo there. And Sting, I'm glad I haven't won the world title. That seems odd, but okay, Sting. But yeah, that's a sweet shot. That'd be a great poster to have, right? Of Kerry and Michael with the Milk and JD. Imagine mixing that, Milk and Jack Daniels. I think that would just be a constant. You just throw it right up. There's no way that would be good. July 88 for Sports Review Wrestling. We have the WWF champion Randy Savage, exclusive photo section of WrestleMania 4 tournament. So like I said, Sports Review Wrestling, always good at this. They always did a nice photo spread, even if it was black and white on the big events. That's one cool thing about Sports Review Wrestling. Because people don't really care for that one, it seems. Everyone's always like, oh, PWI or The Wrestler, Inside Wrestling. But Sports Review Wrestling has a special spot in my heart just because of that. They really went all out for like the big shows and showing photos. That's very cool. August 88 for PWI. We have an awesome cover on the photo. Awesome photo on the cover of Macho Madness there with Hogan and the Macho Man with the title. And we got a picture here of Al Perez, who I still think somewhat resembles Seth Rollins from WWE nowadays. I mean, look at that, right? Can you not see Seth Rollins there? I can. It's really weird, but maybe there's a thing, I guess you can joke that maybe Al Perez is Seth Rollins' father, right? Who knows? But no, I doubt that very much. August 88 for the wrestler. Awesome photo here of the NWA World Tag Champions, Barry Windham and Lex Luger. They only held the belt for like a month, but there they are, really cool. They were an awesome tag team until Barry chose to give up his tag titles to Arn and Tully and join the Horsemen. So, but in the end, he won the U.S. title. Maybe it was a better decision, right? Who knows? Inside Wrestling for August 88. We got What Randy Savage Must Do to Escape the Shadow of Hulk Hogan. So, of course, Hulkster wasn't wrestling at this time. He was off making the movie No Holds Barred. Macho Man was defending the championship all around the country against the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And then he would go on in the fall to defend it against Andre the Giant. Sports Review Wrestling, August 88. We got the Crockett Cup winners there, Lex Luger and Sting with Magnum TA. And we got Savage and DiBiase and Warrior and Hercules at the top there. But exclusive coverage of the third annual Crockett Cup. So again, Sports Review Wrestling showing the photos, the story on the Crockett Cup. So a good way to see what happened there, because the Crockett Cups didn't air on pay-per-view or anything like that. I don't even know if the 1988 one even came out on VHS. I want to say 86 and 87 did. I don't know about 88. I don't think I ever saw any video of Sting and Lex winning the cup off of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Next up is September 88. And for PWI, we get the Supercards 88 talking about WrestleMania. Was it really? WrestleMania 4. The Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup tournament, AWA Rage in the Cage, and even a Clash of the Champions. So 2 NWA mentions here for that. And for the poster here, it's just, WrestleMania. That's a sweet shot of Randy and Liz. It's just photos of the event. I talk about this in the Supercards video I did weeks ago, so check that out if you want to see it. September 88 for the wrestler, we got Andre the Giant versus Hacksaw Duggan, 2x4 Mayhem. Hacksaw now getting pushed in a feud with Andre, which was good for him. I mean, Andre was a main event deal, and it showed Hacksaw was a main event guy too, right? And we get 4 Horsemen Triple Crown champions. Barry Windham wins the U.S. title tourney at the top there. So Barry is now the United States heavyweight champion. Inside Wrestling from September 88, we get WrestleMania 4, the Crockett Cup, and the Parade of Champions for WCCW. It's talking about all those events too. And we even get some colored photos in this one. There's WrestleMania 4. Look at Bam Bam there going over the top. That looks rather dangerous. Got the Crockett Cup here, the Parade of Champions. And I'm guessing, what's this? Yeah, the AWA stuff. There's Kurt Hennig losing the AWA championship to Jerry the King Lawler, who became a world champion then, and took that title to the USWA in Memphis and kept it. So what happened was there was something to do with money deals or something. Lawler ended up wrestling Kerry Von Erich in a unification match, ended up being champion of the AWA, Memphis, and Texas, and ended up taking that title away from the AWA out of contract or money dispute. And they used the AWA World Championship as the USWA Heavyweight Championship until that company closed in 97. So it's kind of neat that happened. September of 88 for Sports Review Wrestling, we got predictions through 1998. We got Elizabeth will win the world's women's title. That did not happen. The Road Warriors will cripple each other. That did not happen. Hulk Hogan will join the 4 Horsemen. That did not happen. Hulk Hogan, however, did join the NWO in 1996. 4. Fall of 88 for Wrestling Superstars. We have a dream match here of Hulk Hogan versus Mike Tyson. The War of the Worlds. Of course, Hulk Hogan fought Rocky Balboa. but never a real boxer, right? Never, not Iron Mike. Iron Mike would probably best Hogan, let's be honest. And here we got a photo. Oh, it's Sting. Stinger is the centerfold for that wrestling superstar. Up next is October 88 for PWI, and we got Sting on the cover here too. It's PWI's Great American Contest, win a phone call from Sting. I believe that did happen. I think there's an article in a later one where Sting talks about it and the fan talks about it, so it did happen. And the centerfold here is of the Ultimate Warrior. This, of course, is a photo of him back in his Dingo Warrior days in Texas. Look at that mustache and short hair, but the Dingo, I don't even understand what the hell that means to this day. What is a Dingo Warrior? October 88 for the wrestler. We have the Fantastics declare, we will not share our fans with the Rock and Roll Express. And Love Bite makes Jake the Snake a man again with Rick Rude and Jake. And this piece of paper here is folded. There we go. Anyway, so let's talk about this for a second. The Fantastics and the Rock and Roll Express. I remember I was watching old Mid-South Wrestling about 3 years ago on the WWE Network, and I never saw it before. I went through and watched it, and it seemed like when the Rock and Roll Express were there, the Fantastics weren't. When the Rock and Roll Express would leave, the Fantastics would come in and do their thing there, and then they'd leave, the Rock and Roll Express would come back in. It seemed like those two teams never were really together in the same promotion at the same time, and I don't even think, maybe for a bit they were in the NWA. But I feel like when the Fantastics came in to feud for the U.S. tag titles with the Midnight Express, that the Rock and Rolls were just losing the tag belts at the time to Arn and Tully, and were kind of leaving the company. So interesting now that I think about that. October of 88 for Inside Wrestling. We get the big SummerSlam hype here. Mega Powers versus Mega Bucks, Savage, Hogan, DiBiase, and Andre. Of course, SummerSlam would be the first summertime wrestling pay-per-view that the WWF was putting on in 1988. And that was a huge one from New York City, Madison Square Garden, of course. October 1988, we get a cool shot here of Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Are the Midnight Rockers too small for the WWF? They just left the AWA to come in their second tryout with the WWF. This time it lasted better and did more for them. And unfortunately, we have a topic here, tragedy in Canada. Adrian Adonis, 2 others die in auto crash. So, yes, that was well talked about in the magazines too. Up next is November for PWI. We got He's back, but is Savage's belt beyond Hulk's reach? That's right, the Hulkster's back now. He came back for SummerSlam. He's doing Survivor Series coming up in November. We got a colored centerfold here of Jim Cornette and Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane, the Midnight Express. It's a nice looking shot of them. But yeah, the Hulkster's back now, and that's when it starts. We start to see the Mega Powers kind of like unravel, right? So got to set up for WrestleMania 5. The Wrestler of November 88. Scandal. The Wrestler cries foul after 2 title controversies. The conspiracy that cost Lex Luger the NWA belt at the Great American Bash. And the friends who plot to stop Ted DiBiase. And the wild life and tragic death of Bruiser Brody. So that one covers Bruiser Brody's passing. So Big Boss Man invades the WWF at the top here. Yes, Boss Man is now in the company as well. No longer Big Bubba Rogers in the NWA. He's now the Big Boss Man. Getting ready for a big push coming up, too, against Hogan and Savage, right? November 88, Inside Wrestling. Dusty Rhodes versus Barry Windham, the night the teacher learned a lesson. There's a sweet shot there. Barry with the black glove on like his dad wore. And Jimmy Hart is out of circulation, but the Hart Foundation keeps pumping. That's right, Brett and Jim are now good guys together. They're a tag team. They got rid of Jimmy Hart. And that started a whole new career for them as baby faces. November 88 for Sports Review Wrestling. The Rock and Roll Express splits up. Who's to blame? I believe that was probably, yeah, because Ricky Morton was wrestling on his own in the NWA again. Robert, I believe, was down in Memphis doing something. So, and up here we got the Honky Tonk Man versus Brutus Beefcake. The never-ending feud must end now. And it did, thanks to the Ultimate Warrior coming in and taking that Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. December now. This is a magazine I've talked about before, and I love it so much. It's finally in my collection. That's the Four Horsemen on the cover. Look at all the gold there. Tully and Arn with the tag titles, Barry with the U.S. title, Flair with the world title. Such a sweet looking photo. This magazine, for some reason, goes for ridiculously stupid big money on eBay. I got 2 copies of it, so I'm lucky about that. And the centerfold here is old Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho. So Hacksaw gets the centerfold, but sweet magazine that is. Long time coming for me to own that. The Wrestler from December 88. We get full color spectacular superstars of a super summer. So they're talking about the big events. We got Luger and Flair, Lawler and Von Erich, and Hogan and Andre from that looks like the WrestleFest 88 cage match. Are there color photos in? Oh, there are. We got Ted DiBiase and Barry Windham there. Lex Luger and Rick Rude. Jerry Lawler and Ric Flair. Hulk Hogan and the Road Warriors, Sting and Randy Savage, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Fantastics, Dusty Rhodes and the Honky Tonk Man, Nikita Koloff and the Ultimate Warrior. So here we go for that. Also, Inside Wrestling, December 88. Exclusive hot seat interview, Roddy Piper, will he ever be back? Well, he did return at WrestleMania 5 in 1989 to do Piper's Pit, and then he came back full-time then. And Ric Flair, Lex Luger is wearing me down. Ultimate Warrior, Honky Tonk Man's living nightmare. That's right, Warrior is now the Intercontinental Champion. Sports Review Wrestling of December of 88. The Road Warriors, can the Horsemen survive their wrath? And we have Andre the Giant. He's ready to turn good again, but he didn't. It wasn't until WrestleMania 6 when he punched Bobby Heenan and beat up Haku. So there's that. We got 2 more magazines left here. Wrestling Superstars, winner of 88. Which of these men did you vote Wrestling Sexiest Superstar? Rick Rude, Lex Luger, Hulk Hogan, or Kerry Von Erich? The dream match here is Ric Flair versus Randy Savage, which did take place at WrestleMania 8. And there's no colored photo in this one, so this one's missing the colored photo. That's okay. And last but not least, Wrestling 88 for winter. Beyond the Squared Circle, the Hulk Hogan you never knew. So inside photos of the Hulkster there from what he does in his free time. It looks like he showers pretty much half naked. That's kind of weird, but whatever. And the reason why I say it's kind of weird is because I get it, we shower naked, but to take a photo of Hulkster showering in just a Speedo outside, kind of weird. All right, so there it is, 88. I'm missing one magazine here, and that would be the the fall of 88 for the Wrestling 88s, these ones here. And the one I'm missing is has Randy Savage on the cover, and I know that because I owned that magazine as a kid. I actually owned it, and I can't find it anywhere, so I'm on the hunt to get that one day. To just to complete the collection here and to also just have it again. I really want the magazines I had as a kid again, so I can read them and be like, oh yeah, I remember this article or this photo. So here it is, 1988. I hope you all enjoyed it. 88 was a cool year in wrestling, fun. I was 7 years old, going on 8 that year, and I remember being heavily invested in WWF wrestling at the time, and a little bit of the NWA. I actually remember watching the episode where Barry Windham turned on Lex Luger. It was on TV, so that always lived in my head rent free for years, until many years ago in a tape trade, I ended up getting a copy of that match to see it happen again, and everything I pictured in my mind still kind of lived up. Not much was different from what I had remembered about it to what I saw again. So I guess that lived really well in my mind, that whole angle. That was well done by them. So this is it, though, 1988. What was your favorite pay-per-view of that year, or feuds or matches? I know for me it was, what was my favorite match of that year? That's a good one, because there was a lot. The Survivor Series 88 was enjoyable too, I'll be honest. That was fun. The tag one, especially the Team Powers of Pain, Team Demolition, when they thought we should turn Mr. Fuji face by having him go with the Powers of Pain, and instead it just turned Demolition face in the end. What a weird idea that was. I don't know why Vince thought fans were going to cheer Fuji, and apparently that's true. If you look it up on the internet, from what I read years ago and such, that was the whole idea was to have Mr. Fuji be a good guy, and fans were like, no. So there it is, 1988 in magazines. Also, I just wanted to say that I noticed a lot of new subscribers. So again, I'm thankful for you guys subscribing to my channel, enjoying the videos, interacting with me and such, leaving comments. It's been fun. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm trying to do it more frequently. So of course I'm going to eventually start running out of ideas. But if you guys have any ideas what you want to see or have me talk about here or show, leave a comment and see. Maybe I can do something with that, right? Because it's not just my channel. I'm doing this for fun with you guys, because I know a lot of you fans had these as kids or teenagers or remember some of these things. Remember the matches or the photos or the magazines. So yeah, just keep plugging along with me and watching and commenting and liking and subscribing, and I'll keep doing these videos. So, all right. I guess until I do another video, I will talk to you guys later.